Time to go racing for the final time in the Euroformula Open Championship for 2020. 18 laps left of the season and our fourth race of the weekend here in Barcelona. So far, Ye has been unbeaten this weekend. 4 pole positions for him and 3 wins. And he is looking to continue that run here in race number 4 of the weekend. Cars are now making their way out onto the grid to make things even better for Ye. That 4th pole position he took earlier means he will start from the head of the field. He's had different people every race starting alongside him, and this time he'll have another with Manuel Maldonado starting on the outside of row number 1. Each time he's been challenged down towards turn number 1. Lucas Dunner was on the grass as he attempted to get through. Cameron Daz almost got through a good start, but then a bit of a bad launch going through the gears, lost him a chance to get to the lead. Sebastian Esner did take the lead from him earlier, but then Ye running wide over the curbs would rejoin the track and would push Esner off into the gravel, seeing Ye get a 5-second penalty, but he won the race by 6.2 seconds over Louis Foster, meaning he would still go on to win the race by over a second. Lucas Dunner is going to start on the 2nd row with Andreas Esner. The cars are just making their way out onto the circuit now. You can see Lucas Dunner, who we were just talking about there, as he comes onto the track. Andreas Esner will start alongside him on the 2nd row. He's had a podium so far this weekend, looking to make it another. Manuel Maldonado, 3 seconds for him. His chance to potentially end on the top step here. But Ye has just proved impossible to beat. He's been a case of, drivers can keep up with him for the first half of the race, but once he decides that he wants to get his foot down and he's had enough of conserving the tyres, and that's when we see Ye go on to build a really big gap. Because it's hard to overtake round here, Ye is kind of able to conserve his tyres and keep people behind, and the drivers behind are having to push their tyres just to stay with him, let alone try and make a move. And that has been an advantage to Ye. So really the key is if you can get past Ye at the start of the race, then you might have a chance to go on and take the win, or at least keep him behind for a while. We haven't seen him out of the lead. We saw him out of the lead for a couple of 100 meters when Sebastian Esner drew alongside, but he then took it straight back again. So it's going to be about whether anyone can go and beat him. He's had 10 wins now in this championship so far in 17 races. Can he make it 11 out of 18? There he is. He's about to go and pull up in towards pole position after what was a very dramatic International GT Open race. Are we going to see even more drama in this one? Zane Maloney now coming out into the circuit. He'll start inside the top 10. He had a good race earlier. 6th place for him. Took another rookie win, adding to the 2 he took earlier so far this season. So a good race for Zane. Can he end it with another top 6 result? He's going to be starting directly behind his teammate in this one. Cars on the track. We are almost ready to go racing in Euroformula Open for the final time of the season. It's been a great season so far. Travelled to some fantastic circuits. We've managed to complete the whole season. We've had to do a double header here this weekend with Arama next weekend not being able to go ahead. We've done 3 races at both Spa and Monza to make up for any lost rounds that we've had to have this season. And with great work from the whole team, GT Sport, we've been able to put a whole season together of 18 races for these guys. This will be the 18th and final one. Okay, Ye, 3 wins and 4 podiums this weekend. Could take his 11th win if he is able to make it to the flag first this weekend. Starting alongside him though, Manuel Maldonado. If he can get a good launch off the line, he'll have a chance to challenge him down towards turn number 1. Maldonado, he's had a good weekend so far, some good results for him. Let's see if he can end on a high. Lucas Dunner will definitely want to end with a win. hasn't had the weekend of his highest of expectations. See if he can end positively. Andreas Essner starts alongside in 4th place. Andreas Essner, a much better weekend for him so far. He's been back on the podium as well. Let's see what he can do in this one. His brother Sebastian, absolute disastrous weekend in terms of results, not in terms of qualifying performances. A real shame of what happened to him earlier. He starts 5th in this one. Then we have Cameron Diaz. The American is going to start from the outside of row number 3. Pretty solid weekend, I'd say, overall for him so far. He's had 2 podiums this weekend so far. Let's see how he can end. Ido Cohen will start from 7th on the grid. He's been moving up in every race, and Ido Cohen, who's been a strong contender this year, see where he can finish in the final race. Nicholas Cruton will become rookie champion. He is 8th on the grid. He is in a race for 3rd, though. Needs a bad luck for Andreas Essner. Needs things to go his way to take that 3rd place, but he's confirmed at least 4th. Zay Maloney will start this one inside the top 10. 6th earlier. He's had a 4th, a 6th, and a 9th. Consistent weekend. See if that consistency can keep up in this one. Alexandre Bardignon, good to see him take more points earlier. His 4th point score. Can he make it 5 in this final race of the season? Rui Andrade also in the points earlier. Strong result for Rui Andrade. Made some nice moves as well. Rui Andrade will be carrying a lot of confidence into this race. He starts from 11th place. Behind him, our driver that starts 12th. But before we run through the rest of the grid, let's talk about what happened in race number 3. So it was Sebastian Essner who will be to the left of your screen as we look down the track. He got into the lead. Yefeye to the right as Yefeye would pull over to the right-hand side of the circuit. He would try and go around the outside of Sebastian Essner. Essner gave him the room. Yefeye not backing out, and he would run into the side of Essner. Essner were having to come into pit lane. That would result in a 5 seconds penalty for Ye. Dunner would lose his place on the podium with that mistake. Cameron Diaz would take advantage to go into 3rd, and from there secure himself a podium finish. The story of the race was then about if Louis Foster could stay in touch with Ye. This was when Cameron Diaz confirmed that 3rd place. Dunner was never able to get back through. 5 seconds, though, was what the penalty would be for Ye. He'd have to win by over that in the end. 6.2 confirmed him as a winner. His 10th win and 3rd here this weekend. We're almost ready to go here in Barcelona very shortly. The grid will be cleared. We will be off away and racing for the final time in 2020. So to go through the grid one more time for you then, Ye and Maldonado will be your front row. Dunner and Essner will be on row number 2. Row 3, Sebastian Essner and Cameron Diaz. Ido Cohen and Nicholas Cruton will be row number 4. Row 5, Zay Maloney and Alexandre Bardignon. Then on row number 6, Rui Andrade and Louis Foster. Glenn Van Berlo and Rafael Villagomez will be row number 7. Matthias Luton rounds out the grid on row number 8. The cars are all set and ready. 15-second board goes up. They will now be set off for their warm-up lap. After that, we will be away and racing here for the final time in the Euroformula Open Championship. It's been a great season so far. We've had some great additions throughout it as well. Some of those winning in Louis Foster and Ben Barnico. But the drivers now set off and ready to go for their warm-up lap. Sebastian Essner in 5th. He'll be hoping to end with a rookie win. In terms of rookie wins, Essner has had 3 of them to his name. Let's see if he can add a 4th here today. Has to hold position to do that, but after the dramas of earlier, he will want to push for a podium finish. Maldonado, it's going to be a very fascinating fight between himself and Ye going down towards turn number 1. Maldonado knows that in order to really take the fight to Ye, he will have to get past him going down to turn 1. such is the dominance of Ye and the difficulty to overtake round here. If Maldonado can get ahead, he could go on and get a win here. He will know that. His team will know that. I can tell you, anyone who is a viewer of the series and has been throughout the season, they will know that too. This track is difficult to overtake at, and Ye has had such dominance in the second half of the races that once he is in the lead going into the second half, he is just impossible to keep up with. He's had a pace that is simply unmatchable. But we haven't seen him challenged yet. How will he be if he loses a race lead? That's what we need to see so far this weekend. We've seen he can obviously be beaten so far this season. He has been on a few occasions, but let's see if he can be challenged here this weekend. The cars now round turn 12 and make their way through 13 and now in towards 14 and 15. Ye leading us round on the warm-up lap, the final formation lap of 2020. A great season. There's been some fascinating battles throughout. Are we going to end with another? All drivers want to end a season on a high because often that can give you the confidence to go and do well the following year. Who will end on the top step of the podium? Let's find out. Yippee Ye at the head of your picture is going to pull in towards pole position. Maldonado alongside him. Dunner and Esner row 2. Sebastian Esner and Cameron Daz row 3. Cohen and Cruton row 4. Maloney and Bardignon row 5. Andrade and Foster row 6. Van Berlo and Villa Gomez row 7. Luthen is going to be on row number 8. The yellow flag will turn to green at the back of the field when Luton pulls into grid stop, which he does now. Red lights are coming on. Here we go for the final time of the season, and we are off the way and racing at a good start from Ye, and that should be good enough for him to hold on to the lead. It was a good start from Dunner as well. As we now go down towards turn number 1, Maldonado could be challenged for second here. He's got drivers left and right of him as he hits the brakes for turn number 1, and a great start from Ye, and he already has a gap. Dunner's had to go across, and that's I think Louis Foster. Oh no, an incident. 3-4 drivers off, 3 in the gravel. 1 I think will get going again, and that is going to be an immediate safety car here in this race. Ye leads from Maldonado. Esner, Sebastian Esner, a brilliant start. He's up to 4th. Daz is 5th. Maloney is 6th place, and the safety car has been deployed. Well, the drivers that haven't come through the second sector are Bardignon, Andrade and Glenn Van Berlo. Bardignon has, there's Glenn Van Berlo. What a shame it's been for him today, having had all point scores up until today. He's now out of the race. Bardignon likewise. Andrade was able to get going again and will catch up the pack with the safety car now out. And Ye's advantage that he built in just one corner will disappear immediately. Foster had to run over the first corner, as did Lucas Dunner. And Alexandre Bardignon's team there extremely disappointed. He now climbs out of the car and is walking away, and that is the end of his season. What a shame to end on such a negative after positives for him earlier and so many positives for Van Berlo. A good start from Zane Maloney, who we see in picture there. He's taken advantage and he's got himself up to 6. A very good start from Sebastian Esner. He's only getting the 1 place, but a big place it is to get from 5th to 4th. And he is now within arm's reach of a podium. Hopefully we'll see exactly what happens shortly. But drama straight away in this final race. Ye will now have to try and build a gap behind. Once we get going again, Maldonado will be trying to line up a chance to get through. There's the Carlin team. We have Cohen in 9th and we have Maloney in 6th for them. The full order: Ye, Maldonado, Andreas Esner, Sebastian Esner, Daz, Maloney. Here is a look at the replay. It was a good start from Ye from pole position, perhaps the best we've seen him have all weekend. Hence, he had a gap going down towards turn number 1. He was able to take the racing line. We had Andreas Esner there trying to go down the inside of Maldonado. Lucas Dunner to the right, and Lucas Dunner ran wide, it seemed, for safety. There was a little bit of dirt on the outside of the track, and was just more concentrated on the guys on the right there, but on the left, of course, there was contact. Hopefully we'll see it again. Bardignon, Van Berlo and Andrade all going off. Elliot Woods alongside. Big Elliot, what did you make of that incident?
It looked like Lucas Dunner picked up the dirt that was left by the GT race prior into turn one, and when he went into the runoff area, he tried weaving to get the dirt off his tyres, and all that did was cause a bit of chaos behind him, and there was chaos on the other side as well. A lot of action in that first lap. Unfortunately, the end of Clem Van Berlo's race, and probably the end of victory hopes for Louis Foster, who admittedly had started up in 11th. He's currently in 12th, but we know he's very quick on these opening laps and can make up a lot of move. And there's only 7 races so far, or 6 races he's done in this series.
Well, a shame really, a shame for, you know, Bardignon, who had a great race earlier, Van Berlo, who's had a great season, and unfortunately they are both out of the race, and they'll be watching the last race from the sidelines, and never a good feeling to end the season like that. Uphill then in towards turn number 9, safety car out, and Yeh will lead from Maldonado when we get going again. The safety car remains out for at least one more lap, as we will have the final race of the season get going again with Yeh leading the way, Maldonado behind. Contact between the likes of Bardignon and Van Berlo have seen them both off and into the gravel, and Andrade was caught up in it as well. There is Alexandre Bardignon, who will be watching from the sidelines, and he will be extremely disappointed with that as they round turn number 12 and make their way up towards turn number 13. Here's another look at the start. So let's focus to the left-hand side once we come through turn 1. That's where our eyes need to be to see exactly what happened. We know Lucas Dunner went straight on. That caused, I think it was Ido Cohen, to have to back up as well. But let's concentrate left as they come in now. So eyes to the left of the screen. Who is it that goes off? It looks like Bardignon's gone wide and tagged Van Berlo, and Andrade, the innocent victim, he had nowhere to go. So Bardignon's run wide, Van Berlo's going on the racing line, and he's been tagged by Bardignon, and in simultaneous fashion the pair go round and off, and hence the very frustrated reaction from Van Berlo as he got out of the car. What did you make of that one?
I think it was Bardignon's fault. He clouted the turn 1 curbs, and while you can't put much steering input in once your front wheels are in the air after you've hit a curb, you know, Glenn Van Berlo was the innocent victim there. Bardignon didn't have to go that heavy because there was space for him to be on the track. I imagine there would be a penalty for Bardignon, besides he is already at this race now. Not a great start to have a safety car. I hope all the drivers involved are okay while the cars are going past, so it isn't going to be an opportunity for them to clear the stricken car from the gravel trap. And I've just come from a very dramatic end to the GT Open race.
Yes, I'm sure it was. It was one of those where no one knew. Even after, it was almost impossible to know exactly what had happened. It was a very strange end to the race, and indeed the championship. But hey, it was a brilliant race to watch, no doubt about that. A brilliant season as well. As it's been Euroformula, I guess this gives us a bit of time to reflect on the season. What have you made of it overall?
It's been a difficult season. Pre-season testing got disrupted very heavily, and with this new Dallara 320 car, they wanted it delivered to the teams as early as possible so they could test through winter into the spring months. But because the season was delayed to July, the actual testing we did was in more realistic conditions because it was warmer conditions. However, it was very limited testing, and drivers were late to commit to the series, so everyone came here feeling, I guess, a little raw at the very start of this season. The Dallara 320, the success of a really popular design, the F312/F317. And in the first 3 races, we didn't quite see, you know, the hallmarks of that previous generation of machinery. You know, the really strong slipstream, the overtaking, the really on-the-edge driving. We did see a bit of that from Yiffy at the Hungaroring. And then we got to Spa and Monza, and the racing there was absolutely frantic. Overtakes upon overtakes upon overtakes. Driving standards have actually been very clean this year. Admittedly, we just had a multi-car crash on the first lap, but you know, it was one driver caused one incident and then never couldn't really escape it. Overall, very enjoyable season. I think it's proved that Dallara 320 as a concept is, you know, a good model for this level of junior single-seater racing. And I think my one biggest regret, you could say, about the season, the fact that Lucas Dunner didn't do all the rounds, so we didn't get a full title battle between him and Yifei at the top of the standings, because that would have been really, really fun.
Here we go for the restart. Yeh leads Maldonado into the chicane. He's gone early, and I wouldn't say he's caught anyone out, but he's given himself a gap already. And Yeh, a perfect restart for him. He leads Maldonado. The only one caught napping at the start has been Sebastian Essner in fourth. He now has Cameron Daz to deal with as we go down towards turn number 1. And we might see going to left of screen Sebastian Essner there having to defend in the white and black colours. Cameron Daz pulls right, and he's going to try and go all the way around the outside. Cameron Daz trying to go through. Oh no, Cameron Daz is now over the curbs. Maloney's going to help himself to 5th place there, and a good save in the end from Cameron Daz, because that car looked to be going wide. Nicholas Cruton's gone off, and Cameron Daz in the end just about able to stop himself from having a spin there, and Maloney has helped himself to 5th place. It's exactly what Maloney needs to end the season. 4 points finishes and 2 very strong points finishes, as he is now up into 5th place. Edo Cohen having to defend there from Rafael Villagomez, who's in the points, but he now has Louis Foster behind as we go down towards turn number 7. They make their way through the fast left-hander and head back uphill once more.
Yeah, brilliant restart from some of the drivers. Zane Maloney having gained a place in the top 5. He wants to get back on the podium. That is his single aim this weekend. It's been quite a difficult season for him, a lot of ups and downs. Yifei breaking away again, already a second clear. That middle sector, he's put another 3 attempts. And Louis Foster, it looks like, is about to make a move on one of the Drivex cars, and he does down the inside. Turns in, there's contact, he clouts the right, left rear even, and spins him round. And I think he's got broken suspension as well as Louis Foster. No, he does actually get back on track. A sorry end to Villagomez's race, and he definitely can't get moving, so that will be a safety car.
Yes, it's on standby already, and it may come straight out of the pit lane to pick the cars up, because that Villagomez car is going nowhere by the looks of it, and sadly that is going to be him tumbling down the order. The safety car is still on standby as the cars now make their way down the start-finish straight, and unfortunately Villagomez is off. Foster is in the pits as well, so he has picked up enough damage to result in a pit stop. And Louis Foster in, he's made some great moves there, but sadly that was not one of them. And he is now down in the pits. Yellow flags waving at turn at number 10, and that is now 3 drivers, potentially 4 out of this race.
And provides some good point scoring opportunities for a few of the other drivers in this field. Matthias Luton only in his 4th race, currently in 11th place. He only needs to make up one move. Here's a replay of Cameron Dass trying to move on Essner at turn 1. I think he got loose on the dirt. We can still see gravel that's been left over from previous races, and that's how he lost 5th place to Zane Maloney.
Yeah, he was a good save in the end, I thought, for Cameron Dass. I mean, he'll still be disappointed. Right, here's the move. Foster down the inside, and he's fully alongside at that point. Oh, well, it was more on the exit, to be fair. I mean, that was just an unfortunate incident in my eyes. I don't think either were... I mean, I wouldn't say that Foster's to blame there. Villagomez is just trying to stay on the track. Foster is trying to run him wide at the same time, and that is just an unfortunate collision, I think. We've now had a further 2 laps added. We have a full 35 minutes to play with in this race. And 2 laps will be added. So we do have a car over at turn 10, but with quick work by the marshals, as I look out the window, I can see them. They are already getting that car off. They have a lot of runoff to play with there, and hence they've been able to retrieve that car incredibly quickly. So great work by them, as we see Edo Cohen here battling away with, as they come round now on the long right-hander, that is Rui Andrade, and this is a battle for 9th place, and the investigation already underway between Foster and Villagomez. Yeh, Maldonado and Essner, your top 3 gaps, 8 tenths and 8 tenths as we go in towards turn number 7 through 8, and they now make their way back uphill. Yeh leading the way as they come through turn number 9 and make their way downhill. And we've seen this on occasions. We've seen this on every race this weekend. People can stay with Yeh for the first half of it, but in the second, when he starts to turn it up, starts to go through the gears in terms of pushing the tyres, he becomes just too hard to keep up with. Almost running wide there was Seb Esner as he put a wheel on the gravel. He's on for a rookie win. He's done the fastest lap of this race as well as we come round the final corner and make our way down the start-finish straight. Yeh, Maldonado, Esner and Esner, your top four.
And an incident involving cars 28 and 15 is now under investigation. That's actually Sebastian Esner and 28.
That's Cameron Dass. Yeah.
So they didn't actually make contacts, but obviously Dass lost a place to Zane Maloney in that incident. Yeh sets the fastest lap, 1 minute 37.926. Some way down on what we were seeing in the earlier race today, but you know, he's already pulling away from the rest of the field. He already knows what he wants to do this race. And I think he might be one of the first drivers to win, well, if he does win, 4 junior single-seater races in the same series in the same weekend when they all contribute to the same amount. Now you have like heat format races, and I'm discluding them.
Yeah, that's, you know, you get those in like Formula 4 and stuff.
Yeah, Walter Hayes Trophy this weekend.
Yeah, so that, you know, they're heats and final format classic, what you get in karting. Downhill, Cameron Dass will be disappointed with that. That's just the luck he's kind of had, you know, things like this happening to him, but he's running in 6th, Maloney in 5th, and this is a real positive end for Zane. Hopefully he'll be back next season, and if he is, he'll certainly be up there fighting for the title, I have no doubt about that. Likewise, the likes of Sebastian Esner, he's on screen now, proved himself as a rookie, and he could be someone, if he comes back, that'll be a title contender, as with this man, I think, in his first season. Nicholas Cruton, likewise. Round the final corner and on to the start-finish straight we go. Maldonado Garage there watching on. Their man in 2nd place so far would match his best result of the season.
Now what Andreas Esner has right now, as well as the podium, is 3rd place in the championship standings. He is fighting Nicholas Cruton for that spot. Cruton down in 7th place. That is the highest position in the championship up for grabs, because we've already got Yeh confirmed as our 2020 champion and Lucas Dunner confirmed in 2nd place. So there's several drivers between Cruton and Esner on track, but I imagine Cruton will be pretty desperate to get that position. And I think Cruton has already secured the rookie classification title as well. So he's had a very strong season with Motorpark this year.
4th place is a great result for him. Andreas Esner, with his experience, you know, 3rd place in this grid would be his minimum target. And although the season hasn't been as good as it could have been after the first weekend, I think that a championship podium was something that he would be fairly happy with as he comes now round turn 9 to Zane Maloney. We're watching him. He's in chase of both Andreas and his brother Sebastian Esner as he now comes down through on the brakes.
And it looks like Rafael Villagomez's car is finally being cleared from turn 10. We've had yellow flags there for the last 3 laps, and that has been the #1 overtaking area for these drivers. Now that the sector has been declared green, the car is still actually being towed away. So I think they towed him onto the grass, so you know you wouldn't really hit him coming out the corner. But it's good to see that that car has eventually been cleared, and we've got green flag racing throughout. Yeh 2 seconds ahead of Maldonado now, 37.4. Maldonado is lapping in the 1 minute 37s though, so he's joined that, you could say, exclusive club of drivers able to lap that low in races this weekend.
Here's Andreas Esner into the first corner. There's his brother Sebastian. He's in chase. He's in 4th place currently as they round turn number 3 and make their way up towards turn 4. Maldonado is losing more and more time to race leader Yeh, 2.2 seconds back. That said, I think he'd take a 2nd place given the pace of Yeh. 2nd for everyone else in the grid, I think would almost feel like a win. Lucas Dunner really struggling in this race, isn't he? He's down in 8th place currently, and since that instant at the start, he just hasn't been able to make any ground back.
And Sebastian Esner has been issued a 2-second time penalty for forcing Cameron Dass off track. Now, I would argue it wasn't quite that, but it's the steward's decision. Now 2 seconds would drop him behind only Zane Maloney, because there's 1.39 seconds between himself and Maloney, and a further 7/10 between himself and Dass. Now, in fairness, if they're going to give a penalty for this incident, they'd want him to kind of be behind Dass. Now, and we're seeing confirmation of that with a slight spelling error on our screen. Louis Foster is still in the pits. Now, I can see his car in the pit lane. I'm not sure if he's still in it, but it does look like it's ready to go if he wanted to return to track.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that's probably a bit harsh, but the stewards have a lot more angles than what we do, onboards included, so they can see everything and a lot more data than what we can. So we have to go off their judgment in this one.
And the race-ending crash between Louis Foster and Rafael Villagomez. Foster has now been issued a 5-second penalty for that one. We can still see Villagomez's car on the grassy area on the exit of turn 11. So, I mean, it's a green flag, but I'm surprised they haven't been able to get it behind the barriers yet.
Yes, I think they've got it in a safe place. I think maybe just find it a bit difficult with the damage it has. I imagine that's a difficult car to get moving without, picking it up is what you need to do with a car of that damage. And at that part of the track, they clearly don't have that available without having to bring out a safety car.
Here is a replay of Yifei bouncing over the curbs. He can take more risks this race. He's got the title wrapped up. He's taken all 4 pole positions this weekend. He could take a 4th win. Now 2.8 seconds out of Maldonado. He is pushing fastest middle sector, fastest lap last time round at 37.4. It's actually Sebastian Essner who's fastest in the first sector, and he is closing in on his older brother Andreas, who's in 3rd place. Now, earlier this weekend, these two had a clash at the very start of the race, and that did cost the team a podium. So I'd like to think they'd work together in their pursuit of a podium in this race.
Down the start-finish straight we go. Yeh comes across the line. Maldonado in chase. Andreas Essner in 3rd. Really, we've got this fight for 2nd now. I think the fight for 1st has completely disappeared. It's 3 seconds ahead. Here we can see Maldonado running wide, coming into the chicane. That's going to cost him going down the straight. Got to be careful, has Manuel Maldonado. He's going to lose time doing things like that. Pushing just a little bit hard going in towards the chicane there. Maldonado. Andreas Essner only 8 tenths behind now. We have half the race still remaining, given that 2 laps were ran behind the safety car. Sebastian Essner is carrying a 2-second penalty in 4th, which puts him in danger of dropping down to 6th place. Maloney looks to be now finishing with his equal best result of this weekend with a 4th place. And there he is, speaking of. He's got a good chance to potentially get a 4th, and if anything is to kick off for 2nd, Maloney could get into a fight for the podium. Cameron Daz likewise. This is Cruton versus Dunner, and it's just been a frustrating weekend for Lucas Dunner, hasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was originally down to car issues. He did talk a lot about setup changes on the Friday and early on Saturday, and the track did evolve a massive amount between those 2 days. However, I just don't think things have gone his way this weekend, and sometimes when you get a few problems, it all builds up, and the results you want aren't available. Yifei finally dropping pace per se, as in he's dropped down to 37.3. Well, he was on a 37.2 last time round, I believe. Maldonado now on a 37.7. In fact, we've got 4 drivers in the 37.7s: Andreas Essner, Sebastian Essner, and Zane Maloney, and possibly Cameron Dass. He's actually on a 37.6. So it looks like lower fuel loads, a lot of rubber on the track. Probably these drivers have saved a fresh set of tyres for this final race of the weekend, and the lap times are dropping across the grid.
Lucas Dunner here behind Nicholas Cruton, can't seem to find a way through. He's constantly kept the pressure on, which would suggest he is the quicker driver, but so far no mistakes made from Cruton, meaning no opportunities to pass, as we are into the 2nd half of this race now in its extended length. Yeh ahead of Maldonado. This is Andreas Essner who's in 3rd. He unable to get past Maldonado so far, as we are into the 2nd half of the race now, on what is the final race of the season in 2020.
And looking forward to next season, and we do have a lot to look forward to. We're going to have the return of the Winter Series, sadly cancelled this year due to the coronavirus pandemic. We're going to Algarve, the Portuguese Grand Prix venue. possibly Barcelona as well. Then I think we start the 21 season in full at Algarve as well. We head to Paul Ricard. The Po Grand Prix will be making a return to the calendar. Billy Munger famously won that last year. We've also got events at the Hungaroring, Spa-Francorchamps, Red Bull Ring, Monza, Barcelona, where we are today. Hockenheim, which has hosted the German Grand Prix a lot. I'd expect that to be back on the calendar. And there is a lot of talk about these cars, along with the cars from Japan's Super Formula Light Series, to be going to Macau for the Macau Grand Prix. That's a very exciting addition if it comes about in 2021.
I mean, Macau, that's an incredible venue for a lot of reasons, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for these guys, that would be an amazing experience.
Yeah, and this car, the Dallara 320, was essentially designed to race at Macau in some aspects, because the predecessor designs were famous for getting F3 cars from all around the world racing at that circuit. Some very famous victories. In fact, the Motor Park team won 2 years in a row with Dan Tickton very famously there. We've had teams in Japan winning, and it's always great to get the best of the rest of the world against the best of the European Championship, which in the present day is Euroformula. And on the 2021 topic, we can look at 2020 as well. We were supposed to have the return of the Mediterranean Grand Prix this year at Enna in Sicily. Great track, very historic. We had a plague of frogs back in the 90s. Some very chaotic tales come from that circuit, and that was one of the unfortunate losses from this year's calendar due to the pandemic. But it's, there was a lot to look forward to this year. You see Zane Maloney coming under pressure from Cameron Dass for 5th place. Cameron Dass, the faster of the two. He's been lapping in the 37.6s. Maloney in the 37.7s. Yiffy Yates still in the 37.3s. His fastest lap, which I said it was 37.2 earlier, it was a 37.340.
Cam Dass in 6th place, trying to go after Maloney as he makes his way down the start-finish straight. Now in the background, Cruton versus Dunner still rages on. We have 7 laps of this 2020 season still remaining. Ye looks to be going on to take a quadruple win and a quadruple pole position run as well. He will win with a perfect weekend if he can stay where he is. He's had the fastest laps in all the races so far as well. It will be the perfect weekend for Ye to end on, further proving his dominance of this car and this championship, and making him a hot prospect going into next year, and one that a lot of teams will be after with the kind of form that he's been showing and the drivers that he's following in the footsteps of, as well as champion Sato Drugovic in the most recent years as well. That what they have both gone on to achieve, they're at the highest of levels out of F1, so that they're both having fantastic seasons.
And Ye's manager, Neil Yarni, which many will recognise as a sports car pro, probably a sports car legend by this point in his career, he gave some interesting insight into why Ye was so quick this year, and he said he's been babysitting for him, and that it might have sped him up. Now, I'm not sure the science behind that, but Neil Yarni, you take his word if he says something like that, whereas Yiffy himself has said he's been doing actually a lot of karting against Neil. Over there, he's been doing a lot of cycling up mountains and hills, and there is definitely a difference between hill and mountain on a bicycle. Before any other drivers argue that, he's been doing a lot of kind of mental competition with him as well. Everything to always be in that race mindset outside of race weekends, and that certainly helped this year, to the point where the first time I've seen him relaxed all season was this morning, and he basically just said in the interview, yeah, I'm relaxed, I've won everything I need to win, I've got everything done, I can just concentrate on the race and look forward to the off-season.
And even his interview after the race earlier, he said he's going to stay in this part of the world for the off-season because he does not want to wait around to go testing. He wants to, if possible, go testing straight away in the next few weeks. That's going to, doing stuff like that is going to become very difficult, but if allowed, then that's what he's going to do. What he'll be testing, I only look forward to hearing, because I can't wait to see what he does next.
The off-season will be another difficult one because all of the championships are racing later into the year this year. So normally in November you would be hiring venues to test, but circuits are still being used for racing. So at that point you've lost a month off the calendar to test. You go into December and January, we really don't know what the future of the world's going to look like at that point. And also a lot of championships are changing. I think Yiffy will probably follow Marino Sato and Felipe Drogovic into Formula 2, but there's no guarantee about that. I think several of these drivers are of a standard where they can step up to that Formula 2 level, or even pursue a career in America or Japan. Alex Palau, who did very well in his rookie car racing season in this series a few years ago. He signed a deal with Chip Ganassi Racing, one of the top IndyCar teams for next year, and he did that 2 days ago. So Euroformula drivers go places.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Scott went to do Asian F3 as well. So they go to different parts of the world. He did the Pro Mazda series as well. So, I mean, he went to two very different continents there to go and race straight away.
Yeah, and that was with RP Motorsport, which is one of Euroformula's most historically successful teams, and he was basically part of that operation from the start when they went to America, building them up. They're one of the best teams at that level in America now. Fortunately, they couldn't compete this year due to pandemic, but great to see them return to the grid in 2021, as we're seeing a battle get a little closer between Lucas Dunner and Niklas Kruten. 3 tenths between the pair this time round as Yiffy drops into the 1 minute 36 as a 36.850 lap, so that's 8 tenths quicker than Maldonado. Now, in the previous race, there was a lot of stress on the Crypto Tower pit wall that if Yiffy could pull out a 5-second lead over Louis Foster as he had a 5-second penalty. We've got 5 laps to go and Yiffy already 5.688 ahead.
That's exactly what we were saying. It's become how much he can win by now, more than if he will win, particularly on this weekend. It's just been so dominant, especially with Lucas Dunner struggling. That's just made things even more exaggerated than they usually be in terms of his winning margins, because Dunner would usually be fighting him until the very end, but that's not been the case this weekend. He appears to have struggled a little bit, and Ye's task has just become, I wouldn't say easier, but the pressure on him has been slightly relieved with that. That's taken nothing away from Maldonado, but he's trying to keep up with a driver who's, and Kruten's run wide. That's going to allow Dunner through on the exit. Kruten gives him the space and Dunner goes through. So Dunner up into 7th place then, and now a gap to chase to the next 3, and that gap is around 2.3 seconds.
Now, provisionally, Manuel Maldonado, I believe, would be on 153 points. Niklas Kruten would be on 158, but he's taking away 5 for drop scores, I believe. So he'd go back down to 153. So both of them will be on 153 after this race, and it should come down to who's got the most second-place finishes. And I believe that would be Manuel Maldonado. Car 4 is under investigation, rejoining turn 2. That, of course, is Niklas Kruten. Now, if he gets a penalty for that, that'd be another 2 seconds on the clock for him, and he would still be in 8th place, so he wouldn't drop position. So there's a battle for 4th place in the standings underway right now. We're going to look further down the order. Cameron Dass 5 points ahead of Ido Cohen. He's going to remain ahead of him. Zane Maloney on 103. Glenn Van Berlo. Sebastian Essner now, he's picking up 12 points. That's going to bring him on to 76 points. So he'll still be 4 behind Glenn Van Berlo for 9th in the standings. There is still a lot to play for with 3 laps to go. Yiffy leads by 6.883 seconds over Manuel Maldonado. Another 1 minute 37.0 lap. That is 9 tenths faster than Manuel Maldonado. Andreas Essner 37.8, Sebastian Essner 37.9. There's literally only 100th of a second between these 2 brothers at Van Amersfoort Racing. They must learn the same things. Zane Maloney 37.8, Cameron Dass 37.6. Dass has been basically the second quickest driver throughout this race, but he's stuck in 6th place.
It looks like the Kruten and Maldonado will be tied on points with drop scores on 154. I had the drop scores after the race earlier as 149 for Kruten and 136 for Maldonado, and Kruten currently is going to score. He's in 8th place. He will score 4 points. So that is bad maths. He's going to go 153.
And I believe Maldonado
will be on 154 with the 18 points that he is taking for that 2nd place, meaning Maldonado will be ahead by 1 point. That is how I have it there. But Elliot will check and recheck that.
I'm thinking he's going to be on 153 as well, because he was on 135 Or is he on 136?
He was on 136 after 3 races with drop scores. He's now going to go to 154 with 18 points, meaning he will be ahead by 1 point in the battle for fourth place. So Cruton, he has lost both 7th in this race and 4th in the championship with 1 single mistake at turn 1.
And if it does come down purely to drop scores and they're on the same amount, then Maldonado on 2nd place countback would take the position regardless. So this is Maldonado's to take at the moment, but he is dropping time consistently to Yiffier. Yiffier at 37.0 again, Maldonado at 37.9. We look down the order, who's the next quickest by Ye? Again, it's Cameron Das, 37.7, although Lucas Dunner has just set his personal best at 37.528. Now, he is already 3 seconds behind Cameron Das, so he's not going to be making a move in the final 2 laps. Car number 4 has a 2-second time penalty. That is Niklas Cruton. He is 1.2 seconds ahead of Ido Cohen. That will drop him behind, so that pretty much guarantees Manuel Maldonado 4th place in the championship standings.
Well, it's his to lose now. He is 8 tenths ahead of Andreas. All he needs to do is stay where he is. If he loses 2nd, he loses 4th in the championship. If Cruton retakes 7th, which he's 2 seconds away from, he would take 4th in the championship. It appears it's going to swing the way of Manuel Maldonado, and we have 1 more lap left of 2020, and Ye comes across the line to start that final lap of the season, and he looks on track to take his 11th win of the season and his 4th here this weekend. Manuel Maldonado still has pressure, but all he has to do is keep Andreas Essner at bay, and he will have yet another podium this season. It will be his 4th podium and 4th second place. And on that topic, his 4th place for him in the championship. Sum up what this man has achieved, Elliot, before you have to go off to the podium.
It's a very difficult championship to win in, because the Dallara 320, like its predecessors, is basically a driver's car. You really have to know how to get the time out of it, and you know, to win a lot of races in a row is a very difficult task. I think Yiffier and Lucas Dunner have pushed each other to new heights. That's always brilliant to see in a series. So I think without Lucas Dunner, Yiffier wouldn't actually be dominating these races, and he wouldn't be, you know, losing the races to Dunner as well. It's these two as a combination who have worked very well in the first half of the season, but not so much in the second half, that have pushed that package forward. Going forward though, it's going to be difficult to make that same impact in the higher categories, so it's always great that when a driver can do it at this level. You know, they're showing the ability they have even when the results further down the line in their career don't reflect that.
Ye comes down the hill, and he has just 3 corners to go of the season. It's been quite a dominant performance from Yiffier, but he's going to have the perfect end to the season. 4 pole positions, 4 fastest laps, and 4 wins here in Barcelona. And it's now official, he is the champion. Yiffier ends the season as he started it, on the top step of the podium. Manuel Maldonado takes his 4th second place of the season, and he snatches 4th in the championship from Niklas Cruton right at the death. Andreas Essner will be 3rd place. Sebastian Esther, with that 2-second penalty, will drop to 6th. Zay Maloney will finish 4th. Cameron Daz will be 5th. Lucas Dunner in 7th. Ido Cohen 8th. It gets worse for Cruton. He further had a 2-second penalty for causing a collision earlier in the race, and he now drops to 9th, meaning Rui Andrade will finish 10th with Ido Cohen up in 8th place. Mateus Luton 11th, and then the drivers who went out of the race, Louis Foster, Rafael Villagomez, after they made contact, and on the very first corner, Bardignon and Van Berlo colliding. That put them out of the race immediately. But that is your season complete, and there is your champion. Yiffier wins, and he is now confirmed champion. He confirmed that pretty much yesterday, but Yiffier has ended the season on the top step and can leave a winning champion, and winning convincingly with 11 wins in 18 races. 4 second places for Maldonado. Andreas Essner ends with yet another podium. Brilliant result for him. That's 6 now this season. Maloney finishes 4th. Cameron Daz in 5th, Sebastian Essner 6th after his penalty, Lucas Dunn 7th, Ido Cohen 8th, Nicholas Cruton with a penalty drops to 9th, Rui Andrade finishes inside the points. Mateus Luton 11th, Louis Foster out of the race, along with Rafael Villa-Gomez, Alexandre Bardignon and Glenn Van Berlo. The Drivers' Championship, Yeh, Dunner, Essner, Maldonado, Cruton, Daz, Maloney, Cohen, Van Berlo, Essner. That's your order after drop scores. And burnouts from the champion as he can now celebrate officially. He's done the job, did it yesterday, and now he can leave this championship as your winner. 11 races he won, receives a round of applause from the marshals. He's been absolutely brilliant this weekend and celebrates in style. Yifei Ye deserves that celebration as well. He's worked very hard over this season. I think I have to agree with Elliot. I think he said it very well, that he and Lucas Dunner pushing each other to the flag has made them both perform even better than they perhaps would have done. And that strong competition between two drivers only ever makes a championship even better to watch, and only makes you draw the best within yourself out. And that has been done with the addition of Lucas Dunner. And Yeh makes that win for him feel even better. He now comes into the pits. It's exactly how he started it, on the top step of the podium. A congratulations to him. And Yeh there into the pits. It looks like potentially a small moment for himself there. Well done to Maldonado. Another podium for him. 4 second places for him this season, following on from the podiums at Red Bull Ring, at Spa as well. And another podium in 2 rounds there for Maldonado to end the season. Brilliant result for him.
That was a tough one, huh?
It was indeed a tough race for Maldonado. Had to deal with a lot of pressure, but there is our champion, Yeh. Well done to him, unbeaten at Barcelona. The perfect weekend for him. Fantastic result. He celebrates there as now he'll walk in to be weighed, and it's been a fantastic weekend for Yifei Ye. The perfect weekend to end his season. We'll hear from him shortly. Maldonado second, where we can see Maldonado will be very happy with that. He's looked particularly strong at the end of the season, and he now finishes 4th in the championship. There is Yeh celebrating. Andreas Essner 3rd. He is on the podium. That's how he started the season, on the podium. He, like Yeh, ends on the podium as well. So here are your top 3 in the final race of the season. Andreas Essner finishes in 3rd place. He tried his best to get 2nd, but couldn't quite beat this man to the flag. Manuel Maldonado finishes with his 4th podium and 4th second place of the season, and he takes 4th in the championship. But in championship terms, no one was able to get anywhere near this man. He dominated the season, 11 wins out of 18 races. Yeh is our champion and unbeaten this weekend.
Yifei, and the championship ends as it started, with you in P1.
Yeah, I mean, this race was probably the best race of the season, actually. I had a very, very good start, and I just had easy way to turn 1, and then from there onwards, yeah, there was a safety car in the beginning, but I know I can do a good safety car restart, which I managed to do, and then, yeah, from there onwards, I was just using my tire saving strategy, so I was, yeah, keeping it under control for first few laps, and then at the end I just gave everything. Also, I just wanted to enjoy myself so in the car, and yeah, managed to do the fastest lap at the end. So yeah, that was a mega race. Very happy about that.
I think there is not much to add. Congratulations. all the best for your future, and we hope you'll keep a nice memory of the Euroformula.
Yeah, absolutely. The year has been amazing, and to wrap up the year with 4 pole positions out of 4 qualifying and 4 race wins out of 4 races, and fastest lap in each of them is like a dream. At the last few laps, I was feeling like I was dreaming, literally, because yeah, it's just amazing. Very happy about that, and thanks to Tim. Without them, wouldn't have been possible. So yeah, very happy about that. It's time to celebrate.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's look back at the final race of the season. Manuel Maldonado to the left of screen did everything he could to try and challenge Ye down towards the first corner, but Ye would hold on to the race lead. We would have drama behind, sadly. If you look to the left of your screen when they turned through turn number 1, we were almost 3 wide behind. That would cause Lucas Dunner to run over the chicane. But to the left of our screen, we're sadly going to see an incident, and there it is as Glenn Van Berlo and Alexandre Bardignon collided with each other, bringing out the safety car. Lucas Dunner having to run straight over. Ido Cumming, likewise, they would lose places when we got going. Sebastian Esner and Cameron Daz would lock horns as they came in towards turn number 1. Cameron Daz running wide. Sebastian Esner would later be given a 2-second penalty for that incident. A further incident would take place just a few corners later. Louis Foster and Rafael Villagomez colliding wheels. The stewards handed 5-second penalty to Louis Foster for that incident. Lucas Dunner would put the pressure on Nicholas Cruton and eventually would force him into a mistake, and that mistake would see Nicholas Cruton lose 4th in the championship to Manuel Maldonado. But Maldonado could get nowhere near this man as he finished 2nd. Ye would storm to a victory of 9.4 seconds to end with the perfect weekend here at Barcelona. 4 wins, 4 pole positions and 4 fastest laps. 11 wins in 18 races for one of the most dominant champions we have ever seen in the series. So to the right of screen, Andreas Esner, how he started the championship, the Venezuelan driver there. Manuel Maldonado to the left of screen. He stands on the podium that his cousin stood on 8 years ago here at the Spanish Grand Prix. But on the top step, Yifei Ye, our rookie winner, by the way, another rookie win for him this weekend. That's 4 for the season now. Zane Maloney is going to be the rookie winner. We'll have Crypto Tower Racing Team now coming out onto the podium, and very shortly after that, we'll welcome Zane Maloney. A good weekend for him to end on. 2 4th places, all 4-point scoring results, and Zane Maloney a 4th rookie win to end his campaign. And then we will have the national anthem of China. And there we have it. Ye, your winner. Maldonado 2nd. Andreas Esner 3rd. Crypto Tower Racing Teams Champions race winners today. Maloney 1st of the rookies. That is it for Euroformula Open in 2020. Thanks to the whole team behind the scenes for getting the championship done in 3 months. And thank you to the viewers for being part of such a fantastic championship. Until the 24th and 25th of April, it is goodbye from us. We'll be back to race once again in 2021 at Portimao. Until then, everyone, please do keep yourselves safe. We will be back for another season in April. Until then, it's goodbye.